We are now going to learn how to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number. Step 1, divide the numerator by the denominator. Step 2, write down the whole number result. And then step 3, use the remainder as the new numerator over the denominator. This is the fraction part of the mixed number. To help us make sense of all these instructions, because they do seem a bit confusing at first, let's jump into this example. So here we have 13 on 3. This is an improper fraction. We know it's an improper fraction because 13 is bigger than 3. So what we want to do is we want to convert the improper fraction into a mixed number. That's what we want to do here. So step 1 tells me to first divide the numerator by the denominator. So this is using our knowledge that this fraction right here is telling me to go 13 divided by 3. 13 divided by 3. So how many times does 3 go into 13? Well, in your head, to answer that question, you should be thinking about your times tables. So let's write out what should be going on in your head. You should be thinking about your 3 times tables. Your 3 times tables because your denominator is 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We'll stop there. Now, what you're going to think about is which number of these gets as close to 13 as possible, without going over. Well, that's going to be 12. So that means I can go in 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 3 goes into 13 4 times. This becomes the whole number component of my mixed number. And that's my step 2. See how it says write down the whole number result? It's going to be 4. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes in 4 times. 4 times. It goes in 4 times. But then you have to think, well, I've got 13. I've got a bit left over, don't I? Because if I come here, here is 13. Whoops, daisy. Here is 13. So how much leftovers do I have? How much leftovers do I have? Well, what's the difference between 12 and 13? I have 1 left over. So that means it's 1 over my denominator of 3. 1 over 3. You have to use the denominator of the improper fraction. Because I've got a 3 here, you have to put a 3 there. So that means I have turned my improper fraction, let's write that down. We have turned an improper fraction, if I could spell, let's try that again, improper fraction into a mixed number. That's what we have done. And how we've done this is we've said how many times does 3 go into 13? It goes in 4 times. That becomes the whole number component. I've got a remainder of 1. That becomes the numerator part of my denominator. And then it's over 3. It's 3 because my improper fraction had a denominator of 3. So as you can see, my third step here, it says use the remainder, 1, as the new numerator over the denominator. This is the fraction part of the mixed number. So that is what we've done. So we have successfully done this. Now, just to reiterate something I said before, this right here should be happening in your head. You need to have a good working knowledge of your times tables to do this quickly. So if you're thinking, oh, I really struggle with my times tables, you need to reach out to me and I can get you into a program that, really helps you brush up on those times tables because you really need to be good at your times tables to do this. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's come over here. Step 1. What we're going to do is we're going to consider how many times does 6 go into 17? So remember, in your head, what you should be thinking is, all right, what are my 6 times tables? 6, 12, 18, 24. Then you're going to think, all right, how close can I get to 17 without going over? How close can I get to 17 without going over? And hopefully you don't choose 18. Why is 18 wrong here? Well, it's not 18 because even though it's very close to 17, you've gone over it. It's no good. You can't go over the number. It has to be 12. So that means I can only go in once, twice. 6 goes into 17 only twice fully. And then you're going to say, all right, well, where is 17? 17 is over here. So what's my remainder? Well, what's the difference between 12 and 17? Well, the difference there is 5. So that's going to be my remainder. So I'm going to have a remainder of 5. And then remember, your denominator is the denominator that you started with. So your answer here is going to be 2 and 5/6. So what we've done is we've turned an improper fraction into a mixed number. That is what we have done here, people. And just to reiterate once again, this should be going on in your head. But of course, we're writing it down now because we're just learning. We're just learning and we want to write down what's happening because that's how you learn. But then later on, you want to get really good and do all of this in your head. You might like to pause the videos to see if you can do these ones for yourself. All right, how did you go with them? So remember, if you're kind of becoming comfortable with this idea now, you might be able to do it without this step here. You might be able to skip that step there. So you might think, all right, 5 goes into 25. 5 goes into 28 5 times because 5 5s are 25 with 3 leftovers. And then I put that 3 over my denominator of 5. And there's your answer, 5 3/5. If you can do that, spectacular. You've got your answer. That's all you need. If you're thinking, I'm still kind of struggling with this idea a bit, then in your head, what you should be thinking about, all right, I've got 5. So it's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then you're going to be thinking, all right, how can I get as close as I can to 28 without going over? Well, that's going to be 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes in 5 whole times. That's why we've got a 5 here. And then you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, 28 is there. What's the difference between 25 and 28? It's 3. So then it's 3 on, well, this is 5 here, so that's 5 there. And that's how we've done it. We have, and let me grab this, we have turned an improper fraction into a mixed number. Amazing. All right, let's go to the next one. Pause the video, see if you can do it yourself. Now, this is where you really need to be able to do this in your head. So a question like this, you could write it out like this, but I really don't want you writing these out, after you've become comfortable with this for a while. Like when you're doing your exercise, I really don't want you to be doing this. I want you to be thinking in your head how to do this. So when you're thinking of 4 and 30, well, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, let's think of my 4 times tables. Well, in my 4 times tables, I can get to 32, like 4 8s are 32, but that's no good, is it? Because 32 is greater than that. So it must be 1 less. Well, what's 4 7s? 4 7s are 28. So that means it can go in 7 times because 4 7s are 28. And then 28 and 30, there's a difference of 2. So that means I'm going to have a remainder of 2. And then I put that remainder of 2 over 4. And there's your answer. That's how you've got to be able to do it in your head. Now, there's actually one extra step for this question because you've got 2 over 4. 2 over 4 can be simplified, and you must simplify. Whenever you can simplify, you must simplify. So we're going to simplify this. What is 2 over 4? 2 over 4 is a half. There's your answer. So as you can see, we have turned an improper fraction into a mixed number. A mixed number. Going insane. A mixed number. Remember, for this one, you really don't want to be having to you don't want to write it out. Ideally, you don't want to write it out for any of them. All of these things here, all of this should all be happening in your head. It's really important that we write it down now so that we understand, but it should be happening in your head once you get to your exercises and such. All right, hopefully you found this helpful. I'll see you later.